This is day 436 of Zohar Al Pi Pshat, and we're back into cryptic Zohars now. We're on Nunah from the base, and we are going to a different mushal here, as you mentioned last time. Um, Barbarim B'Chamisha Gavne, which is about halfway down the page in Nunah from the base. Barbarim B'Chamisha Gavne, Zine Narin, with 45 types of forms of light. Hispanic Alma, the world was separated. And of course, as we mentioned, 45 is 5 short of 50. The Stulam said that Bina is 50, but Malchus is only 45. It's missing the Chamishim Shari Bina. Bina is me. Malchus is Ma. These divide up Shiva Malchus Misparim Shiva Toimin. I don't think it corresponds 45 to 4. It doesn't. 45 is not divisible by 4, divisible by 4. But 7 of these lights divide up to 7 Tehomos. Kolcha batash b'toimid. Each one kicks, which I'm thinking means attacks or activates. It's Tehom. Amidst galgin bo Tehoma, and they're starts the stones rolling. In other words, this kind of stuff was dormant, like a Tovavo situation, and then these lights come down and they start activating stuff, and the stones start rolling around. Go to him, and that light which activated things comes down and goes in avnin into the stones, and it pierces them. The stones are obviously raw material. Nothing's happened with them yet. Now they're broken. You break through the husk, so to speak, of the stone, and now what happens is water comes out in them. It seems the water is coming out of stone, like by Moshe Rabbeinu. And each one drowns. Embeds itself in its home. The chafel transition covers it in 2 sides. So evidently these stones cover up and down. It's 2 sides. Not sure whether it's 4 sides, 6 sides was 2 sides. So up and down. In other words, stones are a barrier, but there's water seeping in from around the stones. And evidently the water is supposed to, just like water is Torah, the water is a positive thing. The water is something which is going to help us deal with the stones. Stones, again, are raw material. The water is going to be a medium. So water comes into those holes, I guess, where they can get around the stones. And the light comes into the water. And it spreads out, kicks out all 4 sides of the dome. And each light, I guess, in the dome, which you find, remember, I know the 45 lights divide them up. It divides those up, but 7 divide up, and each one in the dome which it's found, get into that water. They seep through the holes. The light collides with the other light, or rides together with the other light. Viru b'chad, and they come together as one. Upalgu mayim, and the water split. V'achidu kol inun shiba v'shiba toimin, and then these 7 lights come into all the 7 tomos. Here it says Uchron, and then it says in parentheses Ushron. They dwell b'chashoichet tahema. Okay, so evidently the water, just Torah illuminate from light from above. It gets through the holes which the blockages of the stones have made, have left between the stones, and they start illuminating down here below. They become mixed together. The light, and the darkness. Light, darkness, water, it all comes together. And it comes out of them light. The low is chazon chashulchan. which do not from which you can't see the darkness. Okay, so somehow, or this whole avodah has illuminated this area which was hitherto dark. But there's kol chad b'chavrei. Each one then kicks its friend. Evidently, all these lights which are illuminating. And they divide up into 75 pipes in the depths. And and the water flows through them. So somehow we went from the raw materials now to a system where we have waterworks. And waterworks are 75 tubes of water. I don't know what 75 is, except the significance is that's visible by 15. And 15 times 5 is 75, right? 15 times 5 is 75, right? So presumably it represents the Shem Yud K, right? And it is divided up into these pipelines, which I guess correspond to 5. I don't know what the five of times the 15 is, but probably that the Yud K is coming down through the pipelines, which are vavs, to the hay, to the hay tato. So you can remember we always say Yud K vav K Yismuch Shamayim v'Sodel Aretz. So the Yismuch Shamayim is coming out through these pipelines, which now contain the water, which is illuminated, and that brings it down to the hay tato, to the hay below to Malchus. So each one they come down to 75 tinore toma v'nogdamaya kotem tzortzalik b'kalei. Every pipeline makes a tremendous amount of noise. If he's dazen toimen, and the depths get shaken up by this exposure to the Yud K. When this voice is heard, each home calls to each depth calls to its friend. I'm going to say, Palik mi mach, velbach. Spill your waters are not going to come into you. In other words, all the various different domos, and there are many of them, at least 7, we mentioned here, want to connect together and work together and get that Hashefa together. It says, the depth goes out to the depth, but to the sound of the flow of the pipes. The Zohar references a Zohar, which talks about the Nisuch HaMayim on Sukkot being parallel to this. That's like Gemara in Zohar, Gemara in Tainus. But now we're going to have more symbolism, but we'll stop here for today and go on next time.